start? Okay, we'll give 'em a- Did you guys see her one here? Did you guys go out to?
Yeah, we went to the new Italian place down the street. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't been there, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Very Jewish with their shrimp.
Huh. Yeah, I just, for lunch, I went to this little Vietnamese place just down the street. It just opened maybe 2 weeks ago, two weeks.
That's great.
So let's get in. Just starting to, little things come up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole development plan for downtown, but slowly it's shaping itself. But it's interesting, we gotta do about, start with about $80 million worth of infrastructure work before we even do anything on the top of the street.
Sorry about the stormwater.
The stormwater, energy, all kinds of things, yeah.
Gotta have the infrastructure ready.
And it's like you spend so much money, nobody really sees what you're doing.
No, it's not the fun stuff or the visible stuff.
Yeah.
When you need to do the HVAC system.
Just start? Okay, well, good let me see. Can you guys hear me? Yes. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Javier Sedovich. I'm one of the deputy city managers. You can't hear me? How about now? Can you hear me? Really? Let me see. Hey, John. Is crank it up? It's cranked? How about now? Can you guys hear me now? A little better? Okay, well, I'll speak a little louder as well. So I'm Javier Sedovich. I'm one of the deputy city managers here with Buckeye. And first of all, thank you for joining us this evening to talk about a topic that came up about a year plus ago in one of the retreats with council, which is the idea of, is it the right time for us to start envisioning a new city hall, right? And that's the idea really developed a whole series of questions as to what City Hall really is, where should City Hall be, what is City Hall, what should it look like, and so on. And none of those questions have been answered to this point. So what we did as staff is we moved forward with the idea that council wanted us to explore. And we developed a strategy that included bringing in an expert to help us through that journey. We don't envision and build city halls every day, and so we look for somebody that does that. And so we went out there and went through a process in which eventually we selected a firm, the Smith Group, who is actually going to take us through the exercise this evening, to help us, as I said, through the journey of discovering discovering what City Hall was going to be. I do want to emphasize, no decision has been made, and we are really in the first phase of that journey, which is just gathering information. We are having conversations with council. We are asking staff questions. We're reaching out to that community, and this is one of those meetings, just to find out what it is that all these stakeholders would really expect a city hall to be today and a city hall of the future. So again, This is an exercise where you get to give us your input, and we're going to take all that input, package it, and have a subsequent conversation with council and move from that point with whatever the next step will be. So with that, I will turn this meeting over to the Smith Group, and they will take us through that exercise. And please, although we are a small crowd here, be as engaged as you can be. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Javier. My name is Madeline Dunsmore. I'm a senior workplace strategist at the Smith Group. I have 10 years of experience doing workplace strategy, location strategy, and change management, understanding workplaces of all kinds, and doing a lot of facilitation with groups like this one. So we'd like to get started today with a little presentation. We're going to start off with kind of the history of this building and City Hall in Buckeye. Then we're going to go into why now, the thinking behind this initiative of envisioning what the future looks like. And then we'll get to some exercises. So as you can see, we have some boards set up here. And so I'll be doing part of this presentation, and then my colleague, Carrie McShay, will be doing the second part. And we'll be co-facilitating these exercises and workshops to gather more information about what the future looks like. So everybody knows we're looking at the City Hall. This is the City Hall today, kind of where it sits. You guys all got here, so I'm assuming you know where it is. We're putting this in here because we're doing this exact engagement and workshop throughout the city. So we're doing 4 of these. You're the first resident one, so thank you so much. And we're going to be doing this all over, and we realize some residents, because it is 640 square miles, some residents might never been to this building or know where it is. So we wanted to be able to give some grounding as to this facility as Buckeye City Hall, where it is, and even how to get here. If they haven't been here, they should come on down. We also did some history of this building. So I don't know if anybody knows the history of this building, but we got to learn about it, and it was really fascinating. I'm going to do a spoiler. How many city halls or town halls do you think Buckeye has had in its history? If you were reading quickly, you might have.
5.
You saw 5. Yes, that is correct, sir. Ding, ding. You win no prizes, but great job for effort. Sorry. Gold star. That's correct. And then my second question is, was this building designed to be a city hall originally? No, that's right. We didn't know that either. So we got to learn about it. It was a mixed use retail and residential. Oops, I went the wrong way, didn't I? Thank you. Mixed use retail and office residential space. It was started in 2008. The picture on the top right is when you go to Google Maps, go back in time. That's what it looked like in 2008. There's a, quite frankly, gorgeous farmhouse on a trailer being carried away. I hope. Well, thank you so much. That's excellent. Yeah. Of course, retail's not on the first floor because we're on the first floor. But that's exactly right. So mixed use. This building was able to take over from the developer when the retail didn't pan out. They were able to build out this facility. So as the 5th city hall in the town. So yeah, of course, this became one front from a town hall to a city hall. You can also see that on Google Maps Street View if you go. That's a fun little, watch it go from a town to a city, and the trees get bigger, which is cool. And then so you have a lot of the city staff here, but as you continue to grow, the staff has outgrown the space, and so that's when space was taken over at the landing for about 100 city employees to be moved up to that location, and that has since grown since then. So right now, city employees are split between this location and the landing. Of course, there's a lot of other city employees throughout Buckeye doing lots of things, but administrative staff is those 2 locations. You probably know this fun fact, that you're the fastest growing city in America. You've seen your population just go up, and that is trending to continue for the next 15, 20 years. You're going to grow by 2.5 times, theoretically, and that's a lot. You've already had a lot of growth, I'd say, since 2005. And keeping up with that is, as the population gets bigger, the size of the city government also goes up, not as quite steeply. You get some efficiencies, but you have to add bodies when you add services to your growing population. So we see these 2 charts together as kind of growing population correlating to kind of growing city employees needed. So if you've already outgrown the space, you have other space at the landing. As that continues to happen, thinking through what possible solutions you as a city can come up with to kind of solve for that problem. It's a happy problem. Growth is always great. You guys might have taken the resident survey that is out. If you have, great. If not, there's still opportunity. It's open. We have actually paper surveys in the back if you would prefer to take those. There's also a QR code if you'd want to do it online. What we learned was that residents aren't coming to City Hall every week. Maybe you guys are, but for the majority of residents, they come about once a year, maybe even less than once a year. And when they do come to City Hall, why do they come? We found that it's community programs, council meetings, and to pay their bills, utility bills and things like that. So those are the top 3 reasons. And then we asked people, ideally, would you want to participate in these things in person or virtually? And we got these responses kind of to the right that majority of people would like to do community programs in person. That makes sense, they're fun, and they're great to come to. But a lot of the other things they're thinking might be better done virtually in the future. Not everybody, but the majority of responses trend into that virtual column, especially for things like utility billing, tax payments, oddly council meetings, which I think is interesting. Didn't see that one coming. So just as we learn and plan for the future, knowing that how people want their city services and the technology that'll make that more efficient and easier as well. Here are some of the community programs, the most popular events that you guys have. They're not all here in this location, of course. The airfair, the marathon, 4th of July, all of these sort of seasonal events that you have, and this location is a part of many of them. So that takes us to, why are we doing this?
So we've talked about many of these reasons already. So to recap, you're a fast-growing city. It's going to have many employees to support your many residents that are growing, so we need space for them to go. Maybe they stay at the landing, maybe expand the landing, maybe not. Center of gravity is shifting in the city. As we know, it's a widespread city. Majority of the growth, though, is not distributed across the city. A lot of it is happening to the north. So that center of gravity of where the residents are, the center, is shifting north. That's where the trend is. And service delivery. A lot of services have gone online and are digital today, and they're expected to in the future. And as we saw, many residents would prefer to do things online. So what does that mean? Maybe we don't need as many public-facing spaces, and maybe those public-facing spaces need to change to be more in line with what the residents want. Also, there's a lot of projects already happening in the city today. Some of those you might not even see because some of those are underground, as I understand. Some of them are related to roads. There's a downtown revitalization study that's in the works. So 135 city-funded projects have been identified to be completed over the next 5 years. So there's a lot happening in the city. And I know that there's concern, we saw in this survey as well, that, well, why are we doing a city hall when we need new roads? And that's fair, right? But a lot of that is in the works. And it's not necessarily an either or, but it can also be an and plus this. As Javier mentioned, this is a process. This process is beginning with not solutions, but understanding what is needed. What is the problem that we're trying to solve for? We're not going to understand what that problem is unless we talk to people who live here and are experiencing the city government and the city services on a daily basis. So we're hearing from residents, business owners, council members, employees, and in different formats as well. We had the survey, we've got workshops, and other communication tools as well. And we're taking all of that feedback, and we're going to understand, okay, what is it that people are wanting? I'm sure not everyone's going to agree, but we want to see what are the general trends. And from then, we're going to come up with some possible scenarios so that solutioning happens at the very end. Speaking of possible solutions, we are going to put a couple out there right now. Nothing's decided, and it could be even more than what we're showing today. But for simplicity, we're going to show 3. Today, you have most of the administrative services of the city are in 2 locations, City Hall and the Landing. And then tomorrow, what could that look like? Maybe it is a civic campus that includes not just the council chamber and city services, but maybe also community programs, and maybe also other event spaces that the community could use. So it becomes a community center, a civic center, where everything is under one roof. Or maybe it's a little bit more distributed, what we call hub and spoke model, where we have the administrative offices and the council chamber are together, kind of how it was before. We expanded to the landing. And then there are these spokes, or you can think of them as satellite offices that are distributed across the city that are delivering the public-facing services to the community. Maybe you go pay your bill there. Maybe you can sign up for a rec event or something like that that is more convenient to the residents of the community. And then another potential option is separating the business of the government, which are the administrative services, and the council, or the ceremony symbolic expression of the government. So maybe council and the council chamber, like where we are today, are a separate building, and it's a monument to Buckeye city government, where the administrative offices and city services are happening more in an office building, which offers more flexibility for growth, a little bit easier to adapt to change as needed. So it gives a little bit more flexibility, but it does separate the administrative services from the council. So these are just some options presenting today. And we're going to ask you some questions along these lines in just a moment. Before we ask you questions in the workshop, we wanted to just take a moment and see if there were any questions we wanted to address right now before we get started.
Where were all the previous city buildings, the city offices, where were they before?
We looked for that, and I think it was a few blocks that way. We didn't get. Oh, we got one address of the previous location. I think it might have also been on Monroe.
They were all downtown, weren't they?
Yeah.
The one city hall that was built, I think it was 58, was next door to Chamber of Commerce building. It was there. It was city hall, court, fire department, police department, and jail. And building and everything is still there now. It's the Chamber of Commerce building. When they did move part of it, they expanded it one different time. Then from there, they moved a lot of the city hall functions down to 8th Street in Monroe, what we all knew as the old Dairy Queen building.
Okay.
And then from there, they moved to over on Apache. And they moved the administrative office over there in the police department, and MVD was there over to Apache. Then when they outgrew that building, that's when they came and built this building.
Yeah, so a trend of outgrowing spaces is what I hear. Well, it's a growing city and people want to live here. We got a question in the back?
Yeah, my question is, what will happen to downtown Buckeye if everything's moved up to Verada? It'll remove the anchor here, and then basically this will become a slum-like thing. And then with the way Monroe is messed up, a lot of people don't want to come down here because of the driving. And so when City Hall is moved from here, then the only anchor would be the post office.
Yeah, I definitely understand that concern. And we don't know if City Hall is going to move. That is certainly a possibility. And if it does, I know that the city is committed for something to be in its place. They're not going to leave an empty building, and it will all be in service of that overall downtown revitalization plan. I think there's a lot of possibilities for this building, a lot of possibilities to bring maybe people down here in the evening as well. So after 5 o'clock at night, it's not quiet, but maybe it can support more of a nightlife potentially.
Also, I think that's what we're here to solve. We don't know the answer to that, and that's what we want to ask and learn about today.
All right, I think we're ready to get started. Okay. I don't know how many of you have participated in a workshop, but one thing I just want to express is please share your ideas freely. You will not hurt our feelings. We have been through it before. And we do want you to keep an open mind, right? Be respectful, certainly participate. And we're here to solve big problems. So we want to keep ideas big, right? We don't have all the solutions yet. We don't have any solutions yet. What we really need to do is understand these big boulders before we start planning for the specific details of the future. That said, there will be an opportunity to share some additional thoughts. So we're not going to divide into 4 groups. We're going to move around the room together as a group. We'll start on that side of the room, and we're going to flip the boards over as we go to the different stations. You bring your supplies with you because you'll need those dots and Post-its and pens to add your ideas. And at the end, after we've gone through the 4 stations, we do have a board in the back called Anything Else. So if there's anything that wasn't specifically asked, something you want to share, please put it on that board. We want to hear all of your ideas. And I think I got it. We're not going to do a timer, right, are we?
No. I don't
Okay.
think we need to do that.
We won't do a timer, so we'll just move on as we are done discussing each board. And with that, we can all start to move over to that corner board there.